Commander Taewon Kim sat alone in the control room of his salvage ship, the Horizon's Edge. The soft beeping of instruments filled the quiet space as he guided the vessel through a dense asteroid field. His dark eyes scanned the screens, looking for anything valuable among the floating rocks. "Ship's log, day 437, he said to the recording system. "Asteroid field ZX-29 shows promise. Several metallic signatures detected." He took a sip of cold coffee and grimaced. 6 months alone in space made even bad coffee taste good. The scanner suddenly beeped loudly. Taewon leaned forward, frowning at the unusual reading. That's not normal asteroid composition. He adjusted course, maneuvering the ship carefully between two massive rocks. There, floating in the darkness, was something clearly artificial. The object was about 4 meters long with smooth, curved lines that reminded him of a seed pod. Its surface shimmered with an unusual blue-green material he had never seen before. "Unknown vessel detected," Taewon said into his recorder. "Doesn't match any human design in my database." He brought the horizon closer, engaging the external lights to get a better look. The vessel was damaged, with a large crack running along one side. As the light hit it, he could see faint movement through a small transparent section. Taewon's heart jumped. "There's someone inside." He quickly put on his spacesuit, checking the oxygen levels twice before heading to the airlock. This was potentially dangerous. First contact situations were supposed to be handled by proper authorities, not lone salvage captains. But if someone was trapped inside, they might not have time to wait for help. The space between the ships was silent and cold. Taewon moved carefully, using his suit thrusters to approach the alien vessel. Up close, he could see that the damage was extensive. The crack had nearly split the small craft in two. Taewon reached the transparent section and wiped away space dust with his gloved hand. Inside, he saw a humanoid figure slumped against a control panel. The being had a slender body with skin that seemed to shimmer with iridescent colors, even in the dim emergency lighting. A delicate feathered crest adorned its head, now hanging limply to one side. "Hello?" Taewon called uselessly, knowing sound wouldn't travel through space. He tapped on the clear material instead. The being's eyes opened slowly, large, almond-shaped eyes with no visible pupils, just swirling patterns of gold and green. The alien tried to move but winced in pain. Taewon pointed to himself, then to his ship, making a lifting motion. The alien seemed to understand, giving a weak nod before losing consciousness again. Finding an entry point took precious minutes. Finally, Taewon located what appeared to be an emergency release. He pulled the lever and a section of the hull slid open with a silent whoosh of escaping air. Inside, the air was thin but breathable according to his suit sensors. Taewon kept his helmet on as he made his way to the injured alien. Up close, he could see that the being was female, at least by human standards. A wound on her side leaked a strange blue-silver fluid. "I'm going to help you," he said, knowing she probably couldn't understand. "My ship is just over there." The alien's eyes flickered open again. She spoke, her voice musical and strange, with clicks and tones Taewon had never heard before. Though he couldn't understand the words, the fear and pain were universal. "It's okay," he said soothingly. "I'm a friend." He searched the small vessel for anything that might be medical supplies, but found nothing he recognized. Time was running out, both for the alien and for them to remain safely in this section of the asteroid field. Carefully, Taewon lifted the alien. She was surprisingly light, perhaps due to different bone density. Her skin felt smooth under his gloves, and up close he could see that the color changes happened in waves, perhaps linked to her emotional state. "My name is Taewon," he said as he carried her back toward the airlock. "I'm human, from Earth." The alien made a soft sound, her hand weakly grasping his suit. As they moved through space back to the horizon, her eyes widened at the sight of his ship. Taewon couldn't tell if it was fear or wonder. Once inside his ship, Taewon placed her gently on the medical bed in the small infirmary. The ship's computer scanned her but displayed mostly error messages, unsurprising since it was programmed for human physiology. "Can you understand me at all?" Taewon asked, removing his helmet now that they were safely aboard. The alien stared at his exposed face with clear fascination. She reached out a four-fingered hand toward him, then pulled back, uncertain. "It's okay," he said, taking her hand, gently. "I want to help you." Tae-Wan searched his database for any information about alien species matching her appearance. The closest match was the Nauri, a reclusive species humans had made limited diplomatic contact with 2 years earlier. The images showed similar features: the iridescent skin, feathered crests, and large pupil-less eyes. "You're Naori?" he asked, showing her the image on his tablet. The alien nodded weakly, pointing to herself. "Jisoo," she said carefully, as if sharing something precious. "Jisoo," Tae-Wan repeated. "I'm Tae-Wan." He pointed to the wound on her side. "I need to help you with that. I don't know Naori medicine, but I'll do my best." Jisoo seemed to understand his intent. She moved her hand away from the wound, giving him access. Tae-Wan gathered his medical supplies, choosing the most basic and hopefully universal treatments: disinfectant, wound sealant, and pain relievers. Testing a small amount of disinfectant on her uninjured skin first, Tae-Wan watched carefully for any negative reaction. When nothing happened, he proceeded to clean the wound. Jisoo hissed in pain but remained still, her eyes never leaving his face. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "Almost done." The wound sealed cleanly with the medical adhesive. Tae-Wan wrapped a light bandage around her torso, noticing how her breathing seemed to ease once the wound was treated. Jisoo's skin color shifted to a softer blue as she relaxed. She spoke again, a flowing series of musical sounds. "I don't understand your language," Tae-Wan said, "but we'll figure something out." He brought her water and some simple food, nothing too exotic that might cause an allergic reaction. Jisoo examined everything carefully before trying small amounts. Her expressions were alien but still somehow readable: curiosity, caution, and finally what seemed like gratitude. As Jisoo rested, Tae-Wan returned to the control room and set a course away from the asteroid field. He knew bringing an alien aboard without proper authorization was breaking at least a dozen space protocols, but leaving her to die had never been an option. The ship's long-range scanner suddenly beeped an alert. A large vessel had entered the sector and was scanning the asteroid field systematically. "Computer, identify ship," Tae-Wan commanded. "Unknown design. Matches partial records of Naori vessels." The computer responded. Tae-Wan frowned. If they were searching for Jisoo, that could be good news or very bad news. The fear in her eyes when she first saw him suggested she might have been running from something. He set course for the outer edge of the system, where he could observe without being immediately detected. Whatever had happened to Jisoo and her ship, Tae-Wan needed more information before he handed her over to anyone. "Looks like our journey together is just beginning," he murmured, watching the stars stretch before them. 3 days passed aboard the horizon's edge as it glided through the quiet emptiness of space. Tae-Wan checked the medical bay for the 5th time that morning. Jisoo lay motionless on the bed, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm. The wound on her side was healing well, but she had drifted in and out of consciousness since he had brought her aboard. Tae-Wan placed a fresh cup of water beside her bed and turned to leave when he heard a soft rustle. Jisoo's eyes were open, fully alert for the first time. Her skin flickered rapidly through shades of blue and purple as she pressed herself against the wall, her feathered crest raising in what he guessed was alarm. "You're safe," Tae-Wan said softly, keeping his distance. "I found your ship damaged. You were hurt." Jisoo stared at him, her large eyes taking in every detail of his face. She spoke, her voice musical but incomprehensible to him. When he didn't respond, she tried again, slower this time, pointing to herself. "Jisoo," she said clearly. "Yes, Jisoo." Tae-Wan nodded, pointing to her, then to himself. "Tae-Wan." Her skin calmed to a steady lavender as she repeated his name with surprising accuracy. She then pointed to the bandage on her side and made a gesture that seemed to express gratitude. "You're welcome," Tae-Wan said with a smile. "Can you tell me what happened to your ship?" Jisoo tilted her head, clearly not understanding. Tae-Wan thought for a moment, then retrieved his tablet. He pulled up a picture of her damaged vessel, then made explosion sounds and motions with his hands. Jisoo's skin darkened to an almost black purple. She shook her head vigorously and made gestures that seemed to indicate other ships attacking hers. She drew her fingers across her throat in a universal sign that needed no translation. "Someone attacked you," Taewon said grimly. "Pirates? Or something worse?" He remembered the larger ship that had entered the system shortly after he'd rescued Jisoo. If they were responsible for the attack, they might still be looking for her. Taewon accessed the ship's database. "Computer, do we have any translation software for Naori language?" "Basic Naori diplomatic translation package available. Last updated 43 days ago. Vocabulary limited to 1-200 words. Better than nothing," Taewon muttered. "Loaded into my tablet." He showed Jisoo the translation program. It displayed simple pictures with both human and Naori words beneath them. Jisoo's eyes widened with excitement. She took the tablet and began scrolling through it quickly, absorbing the information. "Use this," Taewon said, pointing to the translation tool. "Tell me what happened." Jisoo nodded. She studied the program for several minutes, her fingers dancing across the screen as she pieced together words. Finally, she spoke, and the tablet translated her musical language into choppy text. "Ship science. Study stars. Bad people come. Want research. Kill crew. I escape." Taewon frowned. "You were on a research mission? Who attacked you?" Jisoo used the program again, more confidently now. "Naori rebels. Hate humans. Hate peace. Want technology for war." "There are Naori who don't want peace. With humans?" Taewon asked. Jisoo nodded solemnly. Her skin rippled with dark spots as she pointed to herself and then to the tablet again. "Me, scientist. Study energy human ships use. For sharing knowledge. Rebels want keep humans away." The pieces began to fall into place. "And the ship I saw, was it looking for you?" Jisoo's skin paled to a frightened gray. "Yes. Not friends. If find me, take research. Kill me." Taewon's jaw tightened. "That's not going to happen." Over the next few hours, they worked together to improve their communication. Jisoo was remarkably intelligent, picking up human words quickly while teaching Taewon simple Naori phrases. By evening, they could maintain a basic conversation through a combination of the translation program, gestures, and newly learned words. They sat in the small dining area, sharing a meal of simple proteins and vegetables. Jisoo examined each food item curiously before tasting it. "This good," she said, pointing to a piece of fruit. Her skin shifted to a pleased orange-gold color. "Your skin changes with your emotions," Taewon observed. Jisoo nodded. "Naori cannot hide feelings like humans." She pointed to his face. "You hide. Skin same, but eyes change." Taewon laughed. "You're right. We think we're good at hiding our feelings, but I guess we're not." Jisoo studied him for a moment. "Why help me? Dangerous for you." The question caught Taewon off guard. He considered his answer carefully. "Because it was the right thing to do. I couldn't leave you to die. Naori told humans selfish, care only for humans." Jisoo's skin shifted to a thoughtful blue. "Not true. Some humans are selfish," Taewon admitted. "Some are kind. Just like Naori, I think." Jisoo nodded slowly. "Same, yes. Different outside. Same inside." As days passed, their communication improved dramatically. Jisoo recovered her strength and began helping Taewon with small tasks around the ship. Her technical knowledge was impressive. She quickly understood the human ship systems despite the significant differences from Naori technology. One evening, as they worked together to repair a faulty air filter, Jisoo asked, "Where we go now?" Taewon wiped grease from his hands. "I was thinking about that. There's a neutral trading station in the Proxima system. Many species go there, including some Naori diplomats. You could contact your government safely." Jisoo's skin darkened with concern. Not know who trust. Rebels have spies. Then we'll be careful, Taiwan promised. We can send an encrypted message to verify who's safe to contact. Jisoo nodded, her crest flattening against her head in what Taiwan had learned was a sign of deep thought. I have idea. Research data has codes. Only true science team knows. She pointed to Taiwan's communication system. Can use to send test message. Together they crafted a careful message that contained a scientific reference only her legitimate colleagues would recognize. As they waited for a response, Taiwan showed Jisoo his collection of old Earth music. She was fascinated by the rhythms, tapping her slender fingers in time with the beats. Naori music different, she explained. Made with water vibrations. Sound travels through liquid. I'd like to hear that someday, Taiwan said. Jisoo's skin flushed with a pink Taiwan hadn't seen before. I will show you. The next morning, they received a response to their message. Jisoo's skin brightened with relief as she read it. Good news. Message from Director Hai-il, my teacher. Safe contact. Her expression grew serious. But warning too. Rebels looking for me. Have ships near trading station. Dangerous. Taiwan studied the star charts. Then we'll need to be smart about this. Take a different route maybe. As they plotted their course to the trading station, the ship's alarm suddenly blared. Taiwan rushed to the control panel. Large ship approaching, he said grimly. Moving fast. Jisoo joined him, her skin paling as she looked at the scanner. Naori design. Military class. The communication system crackled to life. A stern voice spoke in the Naori language, followed by a rough translation in human standard. Human vessel. You hold Naori citizen. Return immediately, compliance required. Jisoo's skin turned almost white with fear. Not real authority. Voice pattern wrong, rebels. Taiwan gripped the controls tightly. How do they keep finding us? Jisoo's eyes widened with sudden understanding. She rushed to the medical bay and returned with a small device she had removed from her bandages. Tracker, she said, her voice shaking. In my wound. Taiwan took the device and crushed it under his boot. Too late for that now. We need to run. He fired up the engines to full power as the larger ship grew closer on the scanner. The horizon's edge might be smaller, but it was faster and more maneuverable, and Taiwan knew these sectors better than most. Hold on, he told Jisoo. This might get rough. As they accelerated away from the pursuing vessel, Jisoo's hand found his shoulder. Her touch was light but reassuring. Together, she said simply, we survived together. Taiwan nodded, setting course for a nearby nebula where they might lose their pursuers. The stars blurred as the ship umped to higher speed, carrying them into uncertainty but also perhaps into a new understanding between their worlds. The horizon's edge shuddered as it entered the dense clouds of the Cygnus Nebula. Taiwan gripped the controls tightly, navigating through swirls of cosmic dust and ionized gas that glowed in vibrant purples and blues. Behind them, the larger Naori vessel followed relentlessly. They're gaining, Taiwan said, checking the rear scanners. This ship wasn't built for extended high-speed chases. Jisoo stood beside him, her skin shifting between anxious yellows and determined blues. She studied the navigation screen carefully. Nebula has magnetic storms, she pointed out, her finger tracing a path through the densest part of the cloud. Big ship harder to control in storms. Taiwan nodded, understanding her strategy. We're smaller, so we can maneuver better. Good. Thinking. He adjusted their course, diving deeper into the heart of the nebula. The view outside the windows changed from the blackness of space to a swirling mist of colors. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Switching to sensor navigation, Taiwan said, activating the ship's advanced scanning systems. The computer created a three-dimensional map of their surroundings showing obstacles and energy fluctuations. The communication system crackled. The same stern Naori voice came through, now with obvious anger. Human vessel. Stop immediately, you steal Naori. Scientist, crime against our people. Jisoo's skin darkened with indignation. She moved to the communication panel and pressed the response button. Lies, she said firmly in her own language. You attacked research ship, killed my friends. You are criminals. There was a pause before. The voice responded, now dropping all pretense of authority. Give us the research data, Jisoo. Then perhaps we let human live. Taewon glanced at her. What research data do they want so badly? Jisoo's expression grew solemn. Energy conversion system. Make ships travel farther using less fuel. Peaceful technology for trade. Her skin rippled with anger. They want for warships. A sudden blast rocked their ship. The pursuing vessel had fired a warning shot that passed just meters from their hull. They're not asking nicely anymore, Taewon muttered, pushing the ship into a sharp dive. The horizon's edge plunged deeper into the nebula, where massive clouds of dust obscured them from visual tracking. The magnetic storms Jisoo had mentioned began to affect both ships. Systems flickered and guidance computers struggled to compensate for the interference. Engine heat rising, the computer warned. Recommend reducing speed. Not an option right now, Taewon replied, pushing the throttle even further. A loud bang echoed through the ship, followed by flashing red lights. Smoke began pouring from a panel in the rear corridor. Engine cooling system damaged, the computer reported. Jisoo was already moving. I help fix. You fly. Taewon wanted to stop her. It was dangerous to work on a damaged system during a chase, but they had no choice. Tools are in the storage locker. Be careful. While Taewon continued evading the larger ship, Jisoo worked rapidly in the engine room. Through the ship's internal cameras, he could see her connecting bypass wires and rerouting coolant with impressive skill. Her six-fingered hands moved with precision that no human engineer could match. Another blast hit closer this time, causing the ship to spin. Taewon fought the controls, narrowly avoiding collision with a dense cloud of debris. How's it going back there? He called through the intercom. Almost done, Jisoo's voice responded. Human technology simple for Naori scientist. Despite the danger, Taewon smiled at her confidence. Simple, huh? That's why our cooling system is failing? Design flaw, she replied matter-of-factly. Should have secondary backup. The pursuing ship was closing in again, its superior engines allowing it to push through the nebula's resistance more effectively. Taewon spotted a particularly dense cluster of asteroids ahead, remnants of a shattered planet caught in the nebula's gravitational pull. Everyone in my crew calls this next move crazy, Taewon said over the intercom. Brace yourself. He cut the main engines and fired only the maneuvering thrusters, allowing the ship to drift into the asteroid field. With minimal power signatures, they would be harder to track, but the risk of collision increased dramatically. Jisoo returned to the bridge, her skin pale with concern as she watched the massive rocks floating past them, sometimes missing their hull by mere meters. This very dangerous, she said quietly. That's the idea, Taewon replied, his hands dancing over the controls with practiced precision. Big ships don't chase small ships into asteroid fields. Too risky for them. Jisoo studied him for a moment. Her head tilted curiously. You good pilot, many years practice? I've been flying salvage missions for 15 years, Taewon said, carefully guiding the ship between two slowly rotating asteroids. You learn all the tricks when your survival depends on it. The scanner showed the pursuing vessel hovering at the edge of the asteroid field, unwilling to follow them in. Taewon allowed himself a small sigh of relief. They're staying back for now, he said, but they'll probably try to wait us out. Jisoo nodded, her crest flattening with determination. Need new plan. She pulled up a star chart on the navigation. Computer. Look, small jump distance to Sarin system. Trading post there. Many ships, many people, harder to find us. Good idea, but we can't make a jump from inside the asteroid field. Too much interference. We'd need to clear the nebula first. Jisoo considered this problem. I have idea. Your ship has mining charges? Taewon raised an eyebrow. Yes, for breaking up asteroids to get at valuable minerals inside. We use charges, create distraction. Jisoo's skin rippled with excitement as she explained her plan. 20 minutes later, they had attached 5 mining charges to different asteroids near the edge of the field. Each was set with a different timer. When first charge explodes, they think we try to escape there, Jisoo explained. When second explodes different location, they get confused. By fifth explosion, too many places to watch. Taewon had to admit, it was clever. And we'll use the confusion to slip out the opposite side of the field. They moved into position, engines at minimal power to avoid detection. The first charge detonated with a silent flash that sent asteroid fragments spinning in all directions. As predicted, the Nauri vessel moved toward that location. The second and third charges exploded in quick succession at different points of the field. The pursuing ship hesitated, unsure which direction to focus on. By the fourth explosion, they had deployed smaller scout vessels to investigate multiple locations. Now, Taewon said as the fifth charge created the largest distraction yet. He pushed the engines to full power, guiding the horizon's edge through a narrow gap between the asteroids and out of the field. The moment they cleared the nebula's edge, he initiated the jump sequence. "Jump in 5 seconds," the computer announced. Jisoo gripped the edge of her seat, her skin flashing with nervous energy. On the scanner, one of the scout ships had spotted them and was turning to pursue. 4, 3. The scout ship fired, but the distance was too great for an accurate shot. 2, 1. The stars stretched into lines as the horizon's edge jumped into hyperspace, leaving the Nauri vessels behind. Taewon leaned back in his chair, allowing himself to relax slightly. "We made it." Jisoo's skin shifted to a calm blue. "For now." Her large eyes met his. "Thank you. Risk your life for me." "For stranger." "Not a stranger anymore," Taewon said simply. Jisoo placed her 4-fingered hand lightly on his arm, her skin glowing with a warm golden hue. "Not stranger," she agreed. "Friend." The ship hummed peacefully around them as they traveled through hyperspace, the immediate danger behind them. But both knew this was just a temporary reprieve. The journey to the trading post would take 16 hours, time to rest, repair, and prepare for whatever awaited them there. The horizon's edge drifted quietly through hyperspace, its engines humming at a steady rhythm. In the small galley, Taewon and Jisoo sat across from each other, sharing a simple meal. 4 days had passed since their narrow escape from the Nauri rebels. The trading post was still 3 days away, giving them time to rest and make repairs. "Try this one," Taewon said, pushing a bowl of noodles toward Jisoo. "It's an old recipe, from my home." Jisoo examined the food curiously. Her slender fingers picked up the eating utensils with surprising grace. Over the past days, she had quickly adapted to human tools despite having only 4 digits on each hand. She took a careful bite, and her skin rippled with pleasure, shifting to a warm orange hue. "Good taste," she said, her command of human language improving daily. "Sweet and... what word? Sharp?" "Spicy," Taewon offered. "We call that flavor spicy." Jisoo nodded, committing the new word to memory. Naori food, never spicy, mostly soft textures, mild tastes. After their meal, they moved to the ship's small lounge area. Taewon pulled out a deck of playing cards, something he had been teaching Jisoo over the past evenings. "Ready to lose again?" he asked with a smile. Jisoo's skin flashed with competitive blue patterns. "Not lose this time. I learn your strategy." As they played, Taewon noticed that Jisoo's skin would shift colors subtly when she had a good hand. It was like a built-in tell that she couldn't control. He decided not to mention it, finding her transparent emotions endearing. "Your skin changes color when we play," he observed casually after winning the 3rd round. Jisoo's crest flattened against her head in what he now recognized as embarrassment. Her skin flushed a deep purple. "Cannot hide feelings," she said, setting down her cards. "Big problem in games with humans." She looked at him with her large, expressive eyes. "You have advantage. Your face stays same when cards good or bad." Taewon laughed. "I've been told I have a good poker face." But you're getting better at reading small changes in my expression. Eyes show much, Jisoo said, studying his face. Small muscles here, she gestured to the corners of his eyes. Move differently when happy or worried. Their conversation shifted to deeper topics as the evening progressed. Jisoo explained more about her research work and how it could help both their species. Energy system I develop uses quantum compression, she said, creating a simple diagram on Taewon's tablet. Make ships travel twice distance with same fuel. That would change everything for independent operators like me, Taewon said, genuinely impressed. Fuel costs are what keep most of us working salvage jobs just to break even. Jisoo nodded. Same for many Naori ships. Technology meant for sharing, help both species. Her skin darkened with anger. Rebels want only for Naori military, keep humans dependent on limited fuel systems. There are always people who fear cooperation more than conflict, Taewon said quietly. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. The ship's viewports showed the strange non-space of hyperspace travel, streaks of light rushing past them. Your world? Jisoo asked suddenly. What is it like? Taewon thought about Earth, a place he hadn't seen in nearly 3 years. It's beautiful, full of different environments, mountains, oceans, forests, deserts. Too many people in some places, but there are still quiet corners if you know where to look. Family there? Jisoo asked. My parents died years ago. I have a sister in New Seoul. We talk when I'm in range of communication networks. He smiled sadly. Space travel makes keeping close relationships difficult. Jisoo's skin shifted to a sympathetic shade of blue-green. Naori, same problem. Scientists travel long times, miss important family gatherings. What about your family? Taewon asked. Jisoo's crest rippled slightly. Parents both scientists also. Brother studies art forms. Her expression grew distant. Not see them for 2 seasonal cycles. Now they worry, with research ship attacked. Taewon reached across the table and gently touched her hand. We'll find a way to let them know you're safe. The touch created an unexpected moment between them. Jisoo's skin glowed with a soft pink light he had never seen before. She didn't pull away. Naori not often touch other species, she said quietly, but feels uncomfortable with you. The next day, Taewon showed Jisoo how to perform basic maintenance on the ship's exterior sensors. They worked together in the airlock chamber, wearing light pressure suits as a precaution. This connection keeps shorting out, he explained, pointing to a frayed wire. It's been a problem since I bought this ship. Jisoo examined the wiring carefully. Design inefficient. Naori would put connector here instead. She pointed to a different section of the panel. Show me, Taewon said, handing her the tools. Jisoo worked with impressive speed, her slender fingers reconnecting the system in a way Taewon had never considered. When she finished, the sensor readings were clearer than they had been in years. That's amazing, he said. Where did you learn to work with human technology? Study all technology, Jisoo replied. Part of research position. Learn from many species. She hesitated, then added, humans make good technology. Different from Naori, not better or worse, just different approach. Later that evening, Jisoo surprised Taewon by setting up a small container of water in the lounge area. Want show you Naori music, she explained, dipping her fingers into the water. As her hands moved beneath the surface, the water began to ripple in complex patterns. Somehow these ripples created sounds, haunting, beautiful tones that filled the small room. The melody was unlike anything Taewon had ever heard, with harmonics that seemed impossible for human instruments to create. It's beautiful, he whispered, afraid to interrupt. Jisoo's skin glowed with pleasure as she continued playing. For nearly 10 minutes, the ship was filled with the otherworldly music. When she finished, Taewon sat in silence, processing the experience. Music connects all species, Jisoo said softly. Even when words fail. I've traveled to 12 different star systems, Taewon said, but I've never experienced anything like that. Jisoo's skin flushed that unusual pink again, Happy to share with you. She hesitated, then asked, Your music? Can show me more? Taewon selected some classical earth music, pieces that had survived centuries. As the sounds of a violin concerto filled the room, he watched Jisoo's reaction. Her eyes closed, her crest rising and falling with the melody. Her skin shifted through colors in time with the music. Can feel emotions of player, she said when the piece ended. Much passion in human music. As days passed, they fell into a comfortable routine, working together on ship repairs during the day, sharing meals and stories in the evenings. Taewon taught Jisoo Korean card games. She showed him Naori mathematical puzzles that challenged his mind in new ways. The night before they were due to arrive at the trading post, they sat in the observation dome watching as the ship dropped briefly out of hyperspace to adjust course. The real stars surrounded them, brilliant against the blackness of space. Tomorrow everything changes, Jisoo said quietly. Trading post has Nori officials. Must contact government. Taewon nodded. The thought of their journey ending brought an unexpected feeling of loss. Will you go back to your people? Jisoo's skin shifted through several colors before settling on a deep blue. Must deliver research. Important for both species. She turned to face him directly. But after, perhaps, continue work with humans. Need representative who understands both sides. Someone who's seen both the best and worst of our species. Taewon agreed. Jisoo reached out slowly and placed her hand on his. Her skin glowed with the now familiar pink light. Not just any human, she said softly. You. Under the light of distant stars, they sat together in comfortable silence, their hands touching, a human and a Naori, finding connection despite their differences. Whatever challenges awaited them at the trading post, they would face them together. The trading station appeared in the distance like a giant metal flower floating in space. 5 massive petal-shaped docks extended from a central hub, each one hosting ships of different sizes and designs. Hundreds of lights sparkled across its surface, marking windows, landing bays, and navigation beacons. Taewon guided the Horizon's edge toward the station carefully. Approaching Nexus Trading Station, he said into the communication system. Salvage vessel Horizon's Edge requesting docking permission. A bored voice responded almost immediately. Horizon's Edge, proceed to Dock 3, Bay 17. Submit cargo and passenger manifest before docking. Taewon glanced at Jisoo. What should I list you as? Jisoo's skin shifted with nervousness, tiny flecks of yellow appearing and disappearing. Truth dangerous, but lies dangerous too, she thought for a moment. List as science consultant, not specify species. Taewon submitted the vague description and received clearance to dock. As they approached the massive station, Jisoo stood by the viewport, her crest flattening with concern. Many ships, she observed. Some Naori design. We'll be careful, Taewon promised. First step is to contact your government representative without being noticed by the wrong people. The docking process went smoothly. When the airlock sealed against the station's port, Taewon gathered a few essential items, including a small energy pistol he tucked into his jacket. Just in case, he explained when he saw Jisoo watching him. Jisoo reached into her own clothing and pulled out a small silver device the size of a coin. Naori data storage, contains all research. Keep safe for me? Taewon accepted the device, understanding the trust she was placing in him. I'll guard it with my life. The trading station was a bustle of activity. Beings from a dozen different species moved through the wide corridors, trading goods, sharing information, or simply enjoying the station's many entertainment venues. Jisoo wore a simple hooded jacket that Taewon had given her, partially concealing her distinctive features. They made their way to a secure communication booth in a quieter section of the station. These booths were designed for private transmissions, with encryption that even the station authorities couldn't break. We'll use Science Division emergency frequency, Jisoo explained as she entered a complex code into the system. Only research. Directors have access. They waited tensely as the communication signal traveled across space. After several minutes, the screen flickered to life, showing an older, Naori male. His skin was a deep, wise blue, and his crest was larger and more elaborate than Jisu's. "Jisu," the Naori exclaimed, his skin brightening with shock and relief. "We feared you dead with the others." "Director Dae-sung," Jisu replied in her native language. "I survived. Human captain rescued me." The director's gaze shifted to Taiwan, his expression unreadable to human eyes. "A human helped you?" Jisu explained their journey briefly, describing how Taiwan had found her, healed her wounds, and protected her from the rebels. The director listened carefully, his skin shifting through thoughtful colors. "The rebels have spread lies," he finally said. "They claim humans attacked your research vessel. Some believe them." "Not true," Jisu said firmly. "Rebels attacked us. Want research for weapons. We must get you safely home with the data," the director said. "I will send a diplomatic vessel. Where are you?" Before Jisu could answer, Taiwan touched her arm gently. "Ask if he can verify himself. Something only the real director would." "No?" Jisu nodded and spoke rapidly in her language. The director responded immediately, mentioning what appeared to be a personal memory involving Jisu's research training. Her skin brightened with relief. "It is really him," she told Taiwan. Then to the director, "We are at Nexus Trading Station, Dock 3. Stay hidden," the director warned. "Ambassador Hunji is there with a small security team. I will contact him immediately. Meet at diplomatic offices in 2 hours." When the communication ended, Taiwan and Jisu left the booth and found a quiet corner in a small food establishment. They ordered drinks that would look normal for both species while they waited. "Do you trust this ambassador?" Taiwan asked quietly. Hunji, respected diplomat, worked for peace with humans many years. Jisu's skin rippled with cautious optimism. "But rebels have spies everywhere." They sipped their drinks slowly, watching the diverse crowd. Time passed tensely until Jisu suddenly stiffened. Her skin paled to a frightened white. "Those 3, she whispered, nodding toward a group of Naori who had just entered. "Military division. Work with rebels." Taiwan didn't turn to look directly. "Are you sure?" "Yes. One was on ship that chased us." Her voice trembled slightly. "They looking for someone." "Time to move," Taiwan said casually, placing some credits on the table. "Stay close to me." They slipped out through a side exit, trying to blend with a group of traders. The corridors of the station formed a complex maze, and Taiwan led them through less traveled paths toward the diplomatic section. They were nearly there when a voice called out in the Naori language. Jisu froze, her skin flashing with alarm. "They found us," she whispered. 3 Naori security officers approached rapidly, their hands resting on weapons. The leader spoke harshly, demanding something from Jisu. "They want research data," she translated quickly. "Say I stole it." Taiwan stepped slightly in front of Jisu. "We're expected at the Naori diplomatic office," he said firmly. "Ambassador, Hunji is waiting for us." The leader switched to broken human language. "Human not involved. Give female to us. Naori business only." "I don't think so," Taiwan said, his hand moving slowly toward his concealed weapon. The tense moment was interrupted by the arrival of another group of Naori. These wore different uniforms, more formal and adorned with diplomatic symbols. Their leader, an impressive figure with elaborately patterned skin, spoke with clear authority. "What happens here?" he demanded. The rebel guards seemed caught off guard. They offered hurried explanations, but the newcomer cut them off with a sharp gesture. "Scientist Jisu under diplomatic protection," he stated. "By order of Science Director Dae-sung." Jisu's skin brightened. "Ambassador Hunji," she said with obvious relief. The rebel guards hesitated, clearly unwilling to challenge a high-ranking diplomat publicly. Their leader made a gesture that seemed threatening but eventually backed away. "This not finished," he said before they departed. Ambassador Hunji turned to Jisu and Taiwan. "Come quickly, not safe here." In the secure diplomatic offices, Jisoo and Taewon explained everything: the attack on the research vessel, their journey, and the rebels' pursuit. The ambassador listened gravely. Rebellion grows stronger, he admitted. Many fear closer ties with humans will destroy Naori culture. My research helps both species, Jisoo insisted, her crest rising with passion. Sharing knowledge makes both stronger. Taewon produced the data storage device Jisoo had entrusted to him. This contains everything. It should go to people who will use it for peace, not war. The ambassador studied Taewon with new interest. Few humans would protect Naori scientists at such risk. Fewer would return valuable research freely. He saved me many times, Jisoo said, her skin glowing with the now familiar pink hue. Showed true human spirit. 3 days later, a Naori diplomatic vessel docked at the station. During that time, Taewon and Jisoo had remained under protection, while the ambassador verified the research data and communicated with the Naori government. On the morning of their departure, Ambassador Hoonji called them to his office. His skin displayed formal patterns of blue and gold. Council reviewed situation, he announced. Rebels being arrested. Research approved for shared development. Jisoo's skin brightened with joy. Both species will benefit. Yes, the ambassador agreed. But need ongoing cooperation. Need someone who understands both sides. He turned to Taewon. Human captain who risks life for Naori scientist shows rare understanding. Taewon looked surprised. What are you suggesting? Naori Science Division creates new position. Human Naori liaison for technology exchange. The ambassador's skin showed sincerity. Official position. Good compensation. Taewon was speechless. Such an offer to a human was unprecedented. Jisoo turned to him, her skin glowing, that special pink that he now recognized was reserved only for him. Work together, she said softly. Continue what we started. Taewon thought about his salvage ship, the lonely years drifting between stars. Then he looked at Jisoo, remembering their shared journey, the trust they had built across species boundaries. I accept, he said simply. 1 month later, Taewon stood on the observation deck of a Naori science vessel. Beside him, Jisoo pointed, excitedly, to the stars ahead. Next system has unusual energy patterns, she explained, perfect for testing new drive. Taewon smiled as their hands found each other, human and Naori fingers intertwining comfortably now. Behind them, a mixed crew of humans and Naori worked together, studying the technology that would soon change both their worlds. New horizons, Taewon said, squeezing her hand gently. Jisoo's skin glowed with happiness as she repeated the human phrase that had come to mean so much to both of them. New horizons, together.